Hey guys, what is up? My name is Anthony DiBiase and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now if you're one of those people that aren't quite sure how frame rate works, this video is for you. Now essentially all frame rate is the amount of still images your camera is recording per second. Now if you're trying to get cinematic footage, you're gonna wanna stay at around 24 frames per second. This is just the sweet spot when it comes to frame rate, and it just looks the best to your natural eye. A lot of people, for YouTubers and stuff, they'll use 30 frames per second or even 60. That's just their personal preference, but the industry standard for frame rate when it comes to cinematic footage is about 24 frames per second. Well, it's not about, it is 24 frames per second. Anyway, the only exception is if you're trying to slow your footage down in post. If you're on a shoot and you anticipate shooting something and having it be slow motion, you're gonna wanna shoot at a higher frame rate. Now, shooting at a higher frame rate obviously will give you more still images in that 1 second clip, enabling you to slow it down in post. Just always keep in mind, if you're shooting at a higher frame rate and your base footage is going to be 24 frames per second, make sure you record at a frame rate in a variable of 24. Now, if you shoot something in 60 frames per second, you're gonna wanna slow it down 2.5 times to bring it back to 24. Now, the same principle applies if you're shooting higher. I'm shooting with the Sony a7S II right now, and that goes up to 120. If I'm shooting at 120, you're gonna wanna slow it down 5 times to bring it down to 24 as well. Now, I'll probably make a separate video showing my process of editing when it comes to editing slow motion, but for now, always keep in mind, if your base frame rate is at 24 frames per second, always keep it in variables of 24. Now, frame rate and shutter speed go hand in hand. The standard for shutter speed is always double your frame rate. Now, if you are shooting at 24, you're gonna wanna have your shutter speed at 50. Now, this is called the 180 rule. Essentially, just always think of whatever your frame rate is, you're gonna wanna double it, and that is your shutter speed. Now, that's pretty much it. Frame rate is actually fairly simple. A lot of people get maybe a little bit overwhelmed or confused, but when it comes down to it, if you think about it as the amount of still images being taken in 1 second, it's a lot easier to understand. That's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you already haven't, and feel free to comment below on any other tutorials or things you want me to talk about in my videos. Well, see you later.